I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Okay, so maybe the DC Cinematic Universe did not get off to a great start. But since Wonder Woman finally gave this franchise a movie loved by both critics and audiences, then perhaps DC and Zack Snyder can fully redeem themselves with today's long-awaited cinematic debut of the Justice League. And since we have Joss Whedon coming in to rewrite and reshoot some of this movie, he may end up spreading some of that Avengers magic towards the Justice League as well, and finally give us a superhero team-up movie worthy of not just the Dark Knight or the Princess of Themyscira, but the Man of Steel as well, because we all know Superman didn't really fucking die at the end of Dawn of Justice. You can't tease whether he'll come back in this movie when you put his face all over the goddamn movie tie-in food products. But though I may have a problem with how they've handled Superman in this cinematic universe, most people agree that Superman himself has made plenty of successful transitions off the comic book page, whether it's over the radio airwaves, onto our TV screens, or especially onto the movie screen, with the first two Superman movies. And as we know from my review of Superman 3 last year, this franchise was at death's door after producers Alexander and Ilya Salkind tried teaming Supes up with a coke-headed Richard Pryor, and their attempt at a Supergirl spin-off movie fared even worse. But in 1987, Christopher Reeve returned to the red and blue tights one last time for Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, after the Salkinds had taken the cinematic rights for this immortal icon of truth, justice, and the American way, and sold them off to the movie studio that stood for boobs, explosions, and embezzling money. But with Superman 4, Golan and Globus hoped to give Canon Films a legitimate blockbuster, and lured back Christopher Reeve by letting him co-write the story, and promising to help him finance his gritty crime drama, Street Smart. They even got Margot Kidder and Gene Hackman to return to this franchise after the Salkinds had banished them to the Phantom Zone for Superman 3. But then Golan and Globus kept cutting the movie's initial budget bit by bit during production, until it was cut by half, and then cut the movie down by 40 minutes so they could make more money from more screenings per day at movie theaters. But even that couldn't help Superman 4 from bombing at the box office and getting a big hunk of kryptonite from the critics, with the movie's failure exiling the Man of Steel from the big screen for the next 19 years. So now I shall find out how this legendarily bad sequel made us stop believing that a man could fly. And sure, I could do a review of Superman Returns instead, seeing as how every other YouTube critic has already made fun of Superman 4. But I think you know good and goddamn well why I can't review Superman Returns right now.
Do not diddle, kids. It's no good diddling, kids.
So for those of you who hated that wacky title sequence from Superman 3, then please enjoy this limp-dicked attempt at recreating the title sequences from the first two Supermans. They can use John Williams' epic theme music all they want, but these graphics will still look like they're straight out of a late 70s Grammy Awards telecast. Coming up next, Donna Summer performs a disco tribute to Woody Guthrie. Then we open on a Russian cosmonaut as he floats outside fixing up his ship, when a piece of debris knocks him away from the ship and Superman comes to his rescue. Even though you can clearly see his helmet got knocked off in that crash, but hey, this is a canon film, so fuck it! I don't think that's what he really said. But when Clark Kent hops out of his tights to head back to work in Metropolis, he finds himself facing a magnitude of problems. For one thing, the Daily Planet has been bought out by sleazy publishing tycoon David Warfield, best known for being referenced in the Pat Benatar song Love is a Warfield, who along with his daughter Lacey, played by Mariel Hemingway, plans to turn the paper into a sensational tabloid.
The name of the game is making money. What I have here are some mock copies of our new layout. It's super, don't you think?
If you think I'm gonna let you turn this grand old lady into one of your bimbos...
Mr. White.
I mean, really, turning a respected newspaper into a tabloid rag? What's next? A Superman movie produced by the guys who gave you America 3000 and Alien from LA? Preposterous! On top of that, Lex Luthor has been busted out of jail and is played once again by Gene Hackman, with the help of his misfit nephew, Lenny Luthor, played, unfortunately, by John Cryer.
Oh no!
Meanwhile, the villain from Superman 3 gets shanked to death in prison, and no one gave a shit.
Where's...
What's going on?
Windows.
What?
I have a way.
Y'all come back and see us down here.
Well, it was about that time that the Duke boys lost themselves their new jobs as police guards. Boss Hogg ain't gonna be happy about this. And to top it off, a summit between the nuclear powers has ended in failure, sparking fears of a new nuclear crisis. And a little schoolboy named Jeremy decides to write a letter to Superman asking him to rid the world of nuclear weapons. But while Superman is touched by the letter, he is warned by the elders of Krypton that he is forbidden to alter the course of history.
If you teach the earth to put its fate in any one man, you're teaching them to be betrayed. 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 Betrayed.
Well, now we know why they gave that Kryptonian elder the nickname Jim L 4 times, seeing as he repeats everything he says 4 times. I'm gonna go get the papers. Get the papers! But Superman decides he's going to break protocol and save the planet from nuclear disaster, with a plan he announces in front of the United Nations.
What's he gonna say?
Something wonderful.
Effective immediately, I'm going to rid our planet of all nuclear weapons.
And if you don't give me your nuclear weapons, I will level your countries to the ground with my laser eyes and snap your necks like I did to General Zod. And since I guess we don't have to worry about preventing wars anymore, all the nations of the world agree to launch their nuclear weapons into space so Superman can round them up in a net. And somehow this shit manages to get sillier than that, when Lex Luthor steals a piece of Superman's hair from a museum display, where it can somehow hold up a 1,000-pound metal ball and yet be easily cut off with a pair of hedge clippers, because I guess the Home Depot sells kryptonite hedge clippers now. From this hair, Luthor developed some protoplasm, which he puts inside one of the launching missiles. And when Superman throws all the missiles away into the sun, the protoplasm forms into Nuclear Man, a villainous alien with all the godly powers of Superman, but also shares Lex Luthor's intentions to destroy the Man of Steel, which will bring back the nuclear arms race on behalf of a trio of prominent arms dealers, one of whom is played by a young Jim Broadbent, and another one played by Lieutenant Eckhart from Tim Burton's Batman. Don't worry, Eckhart, you're 2 years away from ending up in a good DC comic book movie, so make sure you think about the future! And Nuclear Man is played by one-time Chippendales dancer Mark Pillow, in what was his first and last role in a movie, with Gene Hackman pulling double duty as the voice of Nuclear Man.
Destroy Superman now. You have my voice. No. You have my voice.
Well, this actually does make sense after you see what this guy's performance was like before he got dubbed.
Paging Mr. Luthor. Mr. Luthor, you have a telephone call at the front desk.
So here we have Superman in the 4th installment of his franchise fighting a blonde-haired brute who is literally a product of the Cold War. But just because that shit worked for Rocky Balboa does not mean it will work for Superman, especially when you're working with a pathetically low budget and green screen effects that look more in place in the Puma Man than in Superman. And it doesn't help that Nuclear Man is such a nothing of a villain. Not just because he shuts down every time he's not exposed to the sun, but because he brings down Superman by scratching him with Lee press-on nails. What, is this an episode of The Real Housewives of Krypton? Plus, it's not like the rest of the new characters add much of anything either. Mariel Hemingway spends most of the movie making goo-goo eyes at Clark Kent, while John Cryer's portrayal of Lenny Luthor will make you yearn for the understated dignity of Ned Beatty.
Yeah, you're just an experiment, freako. The dude of steel. Boy, are you gonna get it. Oh, wow, I'm breakdancing. Hey, this rocks.
You know, I think Gene Hackman would have been better off if he brought in Pagoda from the Royal Tenenbaums to play this part.
Oh shit, man. He has the cancer.
But believe it or not, even with all of this crap working against it, I think Superman 4 is the better of the two shitty Superman sequels. For one thing, it's good to have Margot Kidder back full-time as Lois Lane, even though she ultimately gets pushed aside after a scene where she finds out that Clark Kent is Superman, again. They fly in the sky together, again, and Superman wipes her memory clean by kissing her. Again. I'm glad that we had that entirely pointless homage to the first two movies. Now back to our regularly scheduled bullshit. Also, Gene Hackman is having as much fun as possible in returning as Lex Luthor, even though he doesn't even bother putting that bald cap back on again.
I've decided to assume control of the company. My first official act, of course, is to say, "You're fired!"
And not only does Christopher Reeve deliver another solid performance, but you can tell that he had the best of intentions co-writing the script. I mean, bless his heart for thinking that the solution to nuclear war is as simple as throwing all the nukes away.
We survived the threat of war and found a fragile peace. And there will be peace when the people of the world want it so badly. that their governments will have no choice but to give it to them.
Sure, it may be a stupid excuse for a plot, but compared to how Superman 3 cynically treated its audience like morons, it's an appreciated effort. And when you realize that these special effects only look this laughable because of two cheapskate producers chopping their budget, then you start appreciating how much effort the crew made to make this look as professional as the previous films, even though they do ultimately fail. So though this installment is rightly considered as one of the worst sequels ever made, its heart is as much in the right place as it was in the first two movies, and its incompetence will amuse you more than it will anger you. Plus, at 90 minutes, it doesn't feel like an overlong slog like some of the more recent bad Superman movies, though I am sure that 134-minute cut is still out there somewhere, ready to be re-released alongside the 3-hour TV version of the first Superman, the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, and of course, the upcoming re-edit of Superman Returns, where Kevin Spacey will be digitally replaced with Christopher Plummer. This Thanksgiving, you will believe that a man can drink once you break out a bottle of booze from your fortress of drunkitude to play the awfully good drinking game. Take a shot or drink every time Superman or Nuclear Man breaks out another superpower. Watch as Superman rebuilds a broken wall simply by looking at it disinterestedly. Gaze and wonder while Nuclear Man makes a SWAT van breakdance and fends off a police force simply by making the film reverse. Thrill when Nuclear Man freezes Superman into an ice cube, because you're going to be seeing a lot more people getting frozen in the next shitty fourth installment of a DC comic book movie series.
Merci.
You can see the characters turn into toys. Well, as bad of a special effect as this may be, it kind of makes it feel like that movie version of Action League Now that I always wanted. Now where the hell is my Stinky Diver solo film, goddammit? Clark Kent changes into Superman, or Superman changes into Clark Kent. And you bet your bibby that some wacky slapstick is going to ensue along the way.
Try this one. No pain, no gain?
I can't breathe.
And take a double shot for the 2 times Superman pulls out his life-saving Kryptonian crystal.
Power in the module can be used but once. If our dying planet can save your life, my son, we have not died in vain.
And you may be asking why we never knew about the second crystal that Superman's parents sent off with him. I thought they only sent him the one that he used to build the Fortress of Solitude. Well, the answer is that it's clearly supposed to be a reference to the Superman Atari 2600 game. It's that thing. Yeah, it's whatever that thing is from the Superman Atari game. Case closed. And on the nudity watch, the closest thing you'll get to seeing any skin is from the leggy, Mariel Hemingway, who can apparently be held hostage in space by Nuclear Man and not have to worry about breathing. Ridiculous, I know. But this is the same studio that had Lou Ferrigno throw a bear into space, and yet somehow avoided a magic opportunity for a crossover movie. On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, would be better suited by another subtitle.
The search for more money.
And kneels before a 6 out of 10. It took Superman an entire movie to find out the same thing that Batman realized in only a few minutes.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
I'm Jesse Schaefer, JoBlo.com, and since Thanksgiving is next week, I for one am thankful that Superman 4 did flop, because if it was a hit, Canon Films wouldn't have just made a Superman 5. They would have also made a Spider-Man movie. Charles Bronson is Doc Ock, Chuck Norris is Uncle Ben, and Michael Dudikoff is Spider-Man. He does whatever an American can.
JoBlo!